My name's Rick Comerford. I'm 64. I was in the Army. I was in Special Forces, Green Beret. I'm participating in the NESTRE Performance Cohort 1 for TBI.
My name is Martin Huddleston. I was in the Army National Guard, made it up to E3.
Billy Burkhart, 46 years old, Army, and I was a PFC.
My name is Julia Balducci, and I had retired from the Army, the National Guard, state of Iowa, and 38 years. Human resources and leadership development.
My name's James Simons. I was in the U.S. military. I'm 36, I'll be 37 this year.
My name is Eric Bruns. I am the Executive Director of SimLearn. In government, we love our acronym, so that is the Simulation Learning, Evaluation, Assessment, and Research Network. And we have been in a cooperative research and development agreement with NESTRE to bring this technology to the forefront. We are a simulation hospital, and we are a national program for the Department of Veterans Affairs, and in particular, the Veterans Health Care Administration. And so we just saw an opportunity to work with something that would be beneficial for veterans.
I'd say my biggest struggle and my biggest opening to TBIs and understanding was when I went to Afghanistan in 2012. I was in like a PLS truck moving supplies, and we started to take enemy fire from the top of the mountains. And I don't know if it was an IED or an RPG or something, but I remember the truck getting rocked and my sergeant screaming and then me just blacking out from hitting my head so hard. And then the next thing I remember is my sergeant just like bringing me back and just like bringing back, I guess, my consciousness, because it's just like this, holding the steering wheel as tight as you can and just driving, because that's all you're trained to do. And I remember they put me down for a week, and even then I'm just kind of like what does that mean? You know, because you go and see the medics and they're just kind of like, oh, you have a TBI. It's like a concussion, just walk it off, drink some water. And I just went about it ever since then. But then when I got back, you know, I had no clear mission of what I wanted to do anymore, you know, not with my military career or my life or anything like that. So it was just like a constant daze for months and years till I finally got out. And then as I was getting out, they started telling you PTSD, anxiety, TBI, all this other stuff. So I went to college to figure out what it was. And even then, I still didn't really get any answers. I learned that the more I talked about it, the easier it was for me to come to grips with it, but it wasn't the same. Like, it was just like I was a different person.
I ended up falling down 2 flights of stairs as I was heading out the training. Unfortunately, they only treated me for a broken ankle and torn tendons. They didn't look at my back, my neck, or my head. They didn't treat me for a TBI. Didn't really know I had it until later on in life after I got out.
I did an infill into Panama back in 1984. I woke up on the drop zone unconscious 2.5 hours after I'd exited the aircraft. And I continued forward from there. I had a blind spot in my eye for about 3 or 4 weeks. I was evacuated once I came back out of the field, and they said I had a severe concussion, which at the time was fairly innocuous. The blind spot went away, and I thought all was good. I also taught explosive entry, so I had a lot of repetitive explosive concussions occurring within a very short distance from my head. We also, back in the early days before we had nice flashbangs, we were using 1-pound TNT charges. A number of times I walk out of the room with a bloody nose and bloody ears and walk it off, didn't really think about any impact it was having.
My military career sadly got ended as a result of a nasty Humvee crash. For those of you that don't know what that is, as you're driving in full motion, the driver emulates taking a hit, and everybody else in the vehicle has to unsecure themselves, grab that driver out while the vehicle's in motion, pull them out, and then the passenger hops in the front seat, resumes control of the vehicle. We had drilled that a couple times successfully that weekend, and on our final drill for the day, a smaller little sergeant decided to step up our training a little bit without notifying us. And as she was driving the vehicle, she emulated taking the hit and kind of lead-footed it on the gas pedal and crashed us into a 6-foot dirt berm going roughly 25, 30 miles an hour. while everybody was unsecured. I bounced up and down inside of the Humvee and went side to side. She was ejected out of the side. The driver was ejected out of the side, and I collided a few times with the other rear back passenger. We all got taken to the hospital, and I had a concussion. I had to get a brace around my neck. I had some lacerations on my shins from hitting the back of the Humvee seats, because there's just big 2-inch bolts that kind of poke out of the back of those things, and life was miserable for me afterwards.
Mine were more sexual harassment and assaults that I had dealt with, the TBIs and concussions and things like that. So what I was dealing with was the continuous buildup of confusion and insecurity. And then in turn with that, then came along with the inability to sleep and start rationalizing what was right and what was wrong. And then I had a stroke and a TIA. So that in itself labeled it enough that I said I need to be on top of my game, start doing something preventative, because I was seeing deterioration in myself.
After my injury, I was scared to be in a vehicle at all times. Life for me was kind of foggy.
I would be lucky if I slept, and let's be honest, if I slept, it was probably because I took like 4 Tylenol PM to knock me out.
The anger, my wife was noticing it, not as much as I was. Matter of fact, she had stated in a statement she had done about 4 or 5 years ago that after I had come back from Panama that I was a very angry man, in her words. So she did notice it.
I lose words. I go blank in the middle of conversations. I know what I want to say, but I can't verbalize it at times. Anxiety issues, severe depression, fatigue. So it's been a challenge the last couple of years because it's really gotten worse since the second time I got COVID.
Before NESTRE, I thought I was into early on-stage dementia, which for my age is not outside the realm of possibilities. But after NESTRE, I don't feel that way anymore. I feel now that I'm much stronger. My cognitive abilities have blossomed, so to speak.
I don't know what I would do if I didn't come to NESTRE, honestly. I was in such a bad state. I was constantly mad. It's just so nice, like being able to sleep every night, to not be so angry, to understand like why my wife's upset, or understand why my kids are happy or mad or glad. It's like I finally see all the emotions. It's not just this, just like a bull, like you just see red. It's like it's gone. It's like I can finally see for the first time in a long time.
Well, I can remember phone numbers. I can remember people's names. Before, I used to heavily just rely on faces. Like my facial recognition was great, but I'd have to say your name at least 3 or 4 times in sentences. Like it was kind of embarrassing to me sometimes. I'd be like, hi James. It was really, really good to meet you, James. James, I was thinking about this, or I have to intentionally input their name into awkward sentences so that I could solidify that in my mind. I don't have to do that anymore.
I want to say that this has been wonderful. Within the first 2 sessions, about 40% of the brain fog went away. I'm actually remembering things that I did not know that I've forgotten from my past. And it's so weird because I'm remembering things that it's just stuff from when I was in elementary school and stuff at home that, like I said, I didn't know that I had forgotten. And it's just nice to actually be able to remember that stuff.
It has been probably 20 years that I've not been able to wake up without a locked jaw, a real tense jaw. Within the first month, that was one of those I'm going, oh, I'm not. And my son is autistic, my middle son, and he came to visit me. He's going, you're happier. Not saying anything because he wouldn't understand it all. And he's going, you're happier. And he's going, your face, it's lighter. You've got, so it was just, it makes me want to cry in reference to him not being aware, other than he knows that the brain is valuable and you got to keep exercise it, is how I explained it to him. And I said that that's what this team is doing, because we had a vacation planned, and I had to explain to him that I'm choosing this over that. And he saw it when he came to visit around the Christmas time frame. He's going, that's what it was all about. We've got more vacations planned, huh, Ma? And I'm going, yep, we do. So.
What I now understand as the total value of this is an opportunity for veterans to get out of whatever is in their head and really enjoy their families, their friends, their life, and really get back to what made them feel like they were the person they were supposed to be.
I've been given an opportunity that nobody else was able to grant me throughout any treatment that I've been through anywhere else. And I normally have all the words, but I don't know how to express the depth and level of gratitude that I have for this. And all I had to do is show up and take that first step.
Like, I don't know how to, I'm just not angry anymore. And I can't tell you how relieving that is. Like, not just for myself, but like for my family and my kids and stuff. Like, it's so nice not being mad anymore. And it's just been like eye-opening to realize like it was just because I didn't know. And my brain couldn't figure out why it didn't know, and then it just makes you more angry, because you're like, I'm thinking, I'm reading, I'm watching, I'm trying to understand, but you don't really get the last piece, or like, it's like finishing a puzzle and you're like, where's that corner? And it just destroys you over and over again. And that's how it felt every single time I would have a thought or a conversation, or I just wanted to talk to my wife or just talk to my kids. It was like I would just get so mad for no reason. I'm not mad anymore.
For the first time in 35 years, I slept the whole night without any type of assistance, which I thought was amazing. I started to notice the anger going away immediately. I went to my doctor for an appointment, and for the first time in my adult life, my blood pressure was normal.
It's a blessing. It has really been a present that I didn't know I was going to get.
That's amazing. To me, the impact is invaluable. I mean, how do you put value on regaining your life? How you put value on feeling that you can contribute to society again? So to me, that's invaluable. In terms of where NESTRE goes next and what it will do, I just want to be part of the partnership. And to be clear, this is me speaking. I'm a veteran, 20 years in the Army. I can't speak for the VA as a whole, but I can say, when I think about myself aging and as I need care, or if I see friends who have PTSD or traumatic brain injuries, and see what they, in their mind, feel they've lost, and then see an opportunity for that to come back, that gets me emotional, honestly. And again, I can't put a value on that.
Everything that I've tried, NESTRE has been the best thing.
I couldn't be more thankful for everything that's been done for me here.
It really can give you your life back.
I do recommend that all veterans get access to NESTRE.
It's changed my whole life in like the best possible way. I'm so excited for like what's gonna happen now.
NESTRE, a better mind starts here.